podcast you're about to listen to is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of horror movie fans who chose to listen to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast.
With your host, Killian Gore.
Good evening. Hi, anyway, it's the Huge Horror Movie Podcast you're listening to. And I am Killian Gore, your host for the next whatever. You know, it's whatever. It turns out the show length is whatever the show length is. Right. So we're doing spoof horror movies today. One of my favourite subjects. It's a subject. Subgenres. And the movie in the BG today is the little heard of to most people, Bloodbath. I'm doing that thing again where I'm swinging at the desk. Do hope you don't hear that booming boom. Boomy boom. Yeah, it's Bloodbath at the House of Death from 1984, and I say little heard of. Clicking away here. You're gonna have to get used to those clicks being part of the whole deal. Yeah, 1983 it says on Wikipedia, and then release date 84. That's confusing, and it's one of those again like House. Should we do that again? We'll go on and on and on about the release date. What does Internet Movie Database goes with 84? Wikipedia 83. So we could go on about that, and that'll be really boring. But I'm going to anyway. Weirdly though, it says release date March 1984 on Internet Movie Database. There is no 1983. What are you on about, Wikipedia? Why have you gone with 83? Stupid. There's nothing else to back up that it's 83. It just decides it's a 1983 British comedy horror film. And that's it. I'm sticking with that, says Wikipedia. I don't need to back it up. I think it was 83. Well, it probably was shot in 83. Anyway, I'm going on about it again too much. I'm doing that thing again. Yeah, like I say, though, nobody really... Well, most people haven't heard of it. But it's one of those, when you do find somebody else that has, it's like, oh, you like it too, super. Shall we talk about it? Shall we? Shall we have a coffee and talk about it? Because, just to sort of show you how little it's known, right? This is an incredible story. When I was at HorrorCon, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year's HorrorCon. I did this little quiz at my table. So I've got here, you can hear it. You can't see it, though. And one of the questions was about Bloodbath at the House of Death. And I think it was on the second day I was wearing a t-shirt with Bloodbath at the House of Death written upon it in bold bloody red letters on a black t-shirt. You couldn't miss it. And one of the questions was, in which 80s horror film did Victoria's dad, because Victoria Price was there, and I did this little thing with a question about each of the guests, which I might read out for you if you're lucky. Which 80s horror film did Victoria's dad, Vincent, star as a character named Sinister Man? And I'm stood there with the goddamn answer on my chest. And they're like, oh, I don't know that one. Have a look at me then, And they still wouldn't say it. Killian Gore, they'd say. Killian Gore. Book writer, quizman. Yeah, so it's one of those. I think that we rented on Betamax. But though there's the title now. I love the whole typeface of that, starring Kenny Everett and very slow credits. Held his name for a while. Pamela Stevenson. I probably should. There's a few sort of notable British folk in it. One of them, strangely, somebody you might all know very well in the UK, Michael McIntyre. He was E.T. in it, uncredited at the very end. Let me read you something. Let me read you from Incredible Horror Movie Facts Part 1. Here we go. Ray Cameron, the director of Bloodbath at the House of Death, is British comedian Michael McIntyre's father. Whilst growing up, McIntyre had always believed that his father had died of a heart attack, but in 2010 his stepmother, Holly Hughes... Oh, we have Hugheses in the family. I wonder if it's related to me. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. Gone off on a bloody tangent again. Holly Hughes informed him that Cameron had committed suicide. And now look at that, I'm making all these silly jokes and I'm talking about somebody's suicide, eh? Such bad taste, this podcast, isn't it? Really bad taste. I won't listen to it again. Not for me, that one. Holly Hughes informed him that Cameron had committed suicide by shooting himself in his apartment in Hollywood in 1993. After Michael planned to take part in the genealogy TV series, Who Do You Think You Are? Holly realised she had to tell him the truth before the TV show unearthed Cameron's death certificate. Oh, that's the end of that fact. Should have elaborated on that, shouldn't I? I wonder what happened. Anyway, in Michael McIntyre's autobiography, Life and Laughing, My Story, he reveals that at the age of 6, he provided the voice for the alien in the E.T. spoof at the end of the movie, uttering the line, "Oh, S-H-I-T, not again," as the spaceship leaves without him. And there you go, then. A little interesting tidbits of trivia for you there. Written by Ray Cameron and Barry Cryer. So Ray Cameron is the director and Barry Cryer is the actor who's also in it, who is still alive. He's 85, born in Leeds there. And that's it. That's all the facts I've got. And of course, Cleo Rocco is in there. Cleo Rocco. Pam Stevenson, Vincent Price, Don Warrington. I'm from Warrington, not from Fort Phantom, as it says at the beginning of all my books. That's a lie. Hope you don't mind. Yeah, so let's see how many votes it has on Internet Movie Database. Give us an idea of how many people have seen it. It's quite a lot, 1,036. So it's not like, it's not as obscure as some of them. Not like that new one that Arrow Video's bringing out. Have you seen that one? Let me just... Oh, there's paper noise. It must be annoying your ears. It's called The Comedian. That's sort of applicable, isn't it? While we're sort of looking at comedy today. Internet Movie Database didn't bring anything up. It's called The Comic, wasn't it? The Comic. Boring you, aren't I? Boring you. Hang on, bear with, though. I was interested in this. Yeah, The Comic, which Arrow Video is bringing out, yeah, very, very soon. I think it's this month. I won't tell you what month I'm in. That'll give the space-time continuum away, wouldn't it? It's 49. It's only got 49 votes, and Arrow Video have chosen to release it on Blu-ray in a nice, elaborate box set. You've got to think sometimes, what are they doing? I mean, they do pick some wonderfully obscure movies, but this one, with its 49 votes, has a score of 3.4. What do people say about it, though, eh? The Comic, it should have been called The Tragic. This is a 1-star review. When I picked up a copy of The Comic at a truck stop for $1, I expected a bad movie, but I never expected something this horrible. I thought it would be a trashy horror film with a comedian who murders people while telling some lame jokes. The box said, "He's a real cut-up," suggesting such a movie. But instead of a campy horror film, we get a confusing, boring and pretentious foreign film. Foreign film, eh? It's British. That's what you say in America, isn't it? I guess everything's foreign to you. That it was in a post-apocalyptic future, and after that it kept on jumping back and forth between flashback and dream sequence. I didn't know what in the blue hell was happening. Wow, that's a nice term. I've not heard that one before. What in the blue hell? Make a note of it. I'm going to use that more in conversation. I think the movie makers tried to put a bunch of symbolism and meaning into many of scenes, but in a crappy film like this, it doesn't really matter at all. I almost fell asleep during this movie, and I love bad movies. Unless you like sitting through 3 hours of hellish tedium, don't watch The Comic. Oh, it's only 92 minutes long. That's, 3 hours? Is he playing it in slow motion? I guess he was. What's your name? These Internet Movie Database names. Why do you all have such weird names? Hasnalia. Any road. Let's do some questions, shall we? That's what you're here for, isn't it, after all? I hope. Are you? Is that what you're here for? Spoof horror movies. What is the name of... Number 1. Write down 1. What is the name of the Blair Witch Project spoof released in 2000 and starring Pauly Shore? Number 2. Who starred as Count Dracula in Mel Brooks's 1995 Dracula spoof, Dracula, Dead and Loving It? Number 3, or trois if you're in France. Which of the Carry On films is a parody of the Hammer horror movies? And number 4, or quatre if you're in France. Which 2010 film is a spoof of the Twilight movies? I'm not actually quite sure of the answer to that. Thank God they're in the end of the book. Number 5, or cinq if you're living in France. Which of the following is the correct title of a 2000 horror film spoof? Listen. Shriek if you know what I did last Friday the 13th. Or Scream if you know what I did last Friday the 13th. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I thought it was the same. The first one is Shriek if you know what I did last Friday the 13th. The second is Scream if you know what I did last Friday the 13th. Or finally, is it Scream if you know what I did last Halloween? So they're the first 5. We got our first 5. I still ain't got a jingle for that. It's the first 5. Cinq if you're in France. That could be the jingle, couldn't it? Stop it. It's getting hot in here again. It's going to have to close like the windows, so people don't hear me. Think, who's that crazy guy up there? And he roared. Yeah, so there are our first 5. And I'm going to stall just for a moment. Because I thought we'd look at some... go back to Bloodbath at the House of Death. Like I say, it's not one of those titles that a lot of people know. It's not on Blu-ray, it's on DVD though, and I believe it has some special features on the... it's not a bad DVD. Let me just go and get it. Would you just... You wait there, microphone, because that's all you are to me. You're just a microphone that I'm talking at. You wait there, microphone. I'll just go and get the box. It's only over here, I'm not going far. Right, yeah. It's got a bunch of special features on it. A brand new high definition transformer. Wide. Oh, this don't you hate it on the back of boxes? You don't get it very often. But when they list really daft things as the special features, like I don't know, I don't think they do this anymore, but they used to list animated menus as one of its bonus features. It's got animated menus and it's got sound. You'll be able to hear it, and it's in colour. And it'd have all these daft things. In fact, this is like this because it's got original mono audio, optional English subtitles. Not that great special features, that is it. Oh, but it does have Running the Bloodbath, a brand new documentary featuring interviews with executive producers Stuart Donaldson and Lawrence Mayers and with Kenny Everett, archive footage, 2 original theatrical trailers, original film script in PDF format, and an image gallery. Not bad. I would have liked a commentary track. I wish they'd do that one. I mean, why don't Arrow do this one? They're releasing that one with 49 votes. Was it 49? Or was it less? 49 it was. And yeah, this one's got 1,036 votes. And it's got stars in it. It's got Vincent Price, who Arrow Video love. They've done a whole bunch of his movies. One of which I saw quite recently. I don't know if you could count it as a spoof, but it's certainly a comedy horror. Comedy horror is separate from spoof, you understand. In fact, let's look in the man. That was the box clicking. In case you were wondering, let's look in the manual here for. It might be under parody rather than spoof. Do you say spoof in America? Are you listening in America? Hello, America. Spoof. No, I didn't go with the word spoof. I've gone with parody. We say parody too, because we use more words in England, don't we, than you guys? I haven't got parody at all. I haven't got parody or spoof. Oh dear, eh? Shame on me! So, we can't look up the definition. Damn it, eh? That's a hole in the book, isn't it? I haven't used spoof or a parody. I'm like in a moment of deep reflection here on a glaring omission in one of my books. So I do apologise. I can't even remember what I was talking about. It's upset me that much. Let's look at the answers. I've moved on. I'm less upset now. The first 5 answers, I've very stupidly got rid of the bookmark. There it is. Yeah, the Pauly Shore movie was the Bogus Witch Project. Hilarious. Play on words. They put bogus instead of Blair. Do you know what? This is quite bizarre. Before I saw the Blair Witch Project, I was with my cousin and his girlfriend, 2 cousins and one of their girlfriends. So there's 4. Just to clarify how many people were present. And we was staying in this house in the woods, somebody's friend's house. I can't remember who. And we were aware that this film had come out. We'd probably seen the trailers and stuff like that, but we certainly hadn't seen the movie just yet. But anyway, we decided to do a spoof of it, which is a bit mad, isn't it? Because we hadn't seen the thing. And we called it the Bar Fish Project. Bar, B-A-H, like Bar Fish Project. Daft name that, isn't it? And it's quite bizarre because some of the things we did in it turned out to be things that were in the actual movie. I can't remember specifically, which is really annoying, isn't it? But I think we had the thing with somebody faced in the corner. I'm sure we did. And there was something else. There was something else. I'd have to rewatch it. I've got no means of rewatching it though. It's on a high 8 tape. Any road. Then we did go and watch the film. I'll probably should talk more about this when I'm doing found footage. But it was quite weird when we watched it. In general, it was weird when we watched it because it was one of those film like cinema experiences that rarely happens. That after the film had finished and the credits started to roll, and remember, there's no music, is there? It's just sort of, and nobody moved. Everyone was just like sitting there stunned, like, what did we just watch? Yeah, so I'm a big fan of that. In fact, that's going to be the subject of the next mini horror quiz book, so do watch out for that. As for the Bogus Witch Project, I'm sure I had that on DVD and probably did watch it, but I can't recall. I'll have to have a look, Hunter. I'll have to have a look. Right, who starred as Count Dracula and Dracula Dead and Loving It? It was, of course, Leslie Nielsen, who's you can't do a program on a podcast, on spoofs without really bringing Leslie Nielsen into the mix, can you? I'm doing that, banging the desk again. Sorry. Because he's, of course, in some of the scary movies, isn't he? Part 3 and 4. I think he's in both of those, isn't he? Yeah, I love Part 3. I just did a massive pause, didn't I? I'm terribly sorry. Oh, so I'm typing. You can hear me typing. You know what I'm doing. Scary movie. Let's look at some of the reviews. Let's have a pause. And we're going to look at some quite highly rated, really, 6.2. Even though I know Justin Kurzweil doesn't like it, does he? He said that. I remember him saying that in his book, I think, the Teenage Slasher movie book. What it said, horror. The Teenage Slasher movie book. Yeah, he mentions a few others, which we'll have a peep at that in it if we've got time. Because it's right here, staring me in the face. Love that book. Even though I don't like his opinion on not liking Scary Movie and its sequels, because I think Part 3's... I know a lot of people go with Part 2, don't they, with the little hand and all that. That's very funny. My germs. It is. It'll do. I like Part 2 as well, but Part 3 is hilarious. Some of the stuff in Part 3. It's awake. What, she's awake? Oh, that scene, honestly. Anyway, I'm supposed to be looking at some reviews for... We'll look at Scary Movie. No, let's not, actually. Well, I'm going to do something else for the bad review. A film that's more widely liked, because Scary Movie, I'm already seeing, look, dreadful. Another sad example of today's comedies. Sneak Puke. It's the review there from P. Wade Thompson. What the hell do you mean, Sneak Puke? I got to see the... Oh, right, because he went to the sneak preview of Scary Movie last Thursday night for free. I remember first hearing about the movie back when they were going to call it Scream, if you know what I did last summer, and I was looking forward to it. I heard last week that mom and pop Wayans left during the premiere, and I understand why. Wayans, I never know how to say that. The movie had its funny points, where I laughed heartily. Those were few and far between. Most of the time I was embarrassed to be in the theatre, with the people I was with. Not very nice. Many of the sight gags had me gagging. I guess they worked then, didn't they? The movie was definitely more gross than funny. Didn't really deserve a 1 based on what he said. Many of the sight gags had me gagging. Oh, gagging is in a bad way, I guess. Yeah, I thought he meant gagging with laughter. Anyway, I said I wouldn't do that, and I did. Spoilt it for myself. Number 3, which Carry On film is the spoof of Hammer, Carry On Screaming, a very popular film from 1966. Number 4, which 2010 film is a spoof of the Twilight movies, which was what I didn't know. Oh, Vampires Suck. Isn't Vampires Suck one of those movies regarded as the worst of all time? Vampires Suck. Let's have a little look. I'm pretty sure it is. Is it in the bottom, yeah, it's number 45 in the bottom rated movies. Number 1 is Disaster Movie, which is very apt, isn't it? That is the film that should be. Naturally. I don't think I've seen it. Disaster Movie. Kim Kardashian West. A lot of people know of the Kardashians. I just don't know that's the name, Kardashian. That's all I know. Did something buzz then? I shouldn't keep that here. I think I was going to tell you that... it did buzz. I was going to tell you at the start of the show something completely not relevant to anything, but I just sold a book on Etsy and my phone didn't do the ka-ching, and I was going to say that at the beginning and just say I was really annoyed about it. So there you go, I said it now. Unless I did say it at the beginning and I've totally forgot. Which it following is correct? Is it Shriek, Scream, or Scream Halloween? Shorten them there to press on. It's Shriek if you know what it did last Friday the 13th was the correct answer. And that's it, isn't it? There are top 5. They were the first 5, and we've already wasted too much time. We're 22 minutes in. Yeah, the movie that I wanted to now look at the worst review for is Young Frankenstein, because it's one of those spoofs or parodies that's very highly revered. In fact, it has an 8 score on Internet Movie Database. Why is it not in the top 100? Eh? Should be. But let's look at somebody who doesn't like it. Hey, why wouldn't you not like it? Why would you not like it? Most overrated film ever, says he. Completely unfunny. At least Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space made us laugh. It did, didn't it? Overrated comedy. Overrated. Actually, no, I want to talk about the word underrated. Little pet hate of mine. Because I do believe probably around, let's say, between 30 and 40% of the population, I think it is, based on what I read, don't know what the word underrated means. Because you see people post this all the time on social media. What other film do you think's underrated? And then they'll say, like, oh, The Exorcist, A Nightmare on Elm Street. And you're like, what? Those films are highly rated. And I'm not even kidding. They're some of the responses you get. Underrated. Come on, the clue's right there in the word. Rated. Underrated doesn't mean underseen. Or, under talked about. It means underrated. The bloody words there. Anyway, I recently bought this movie on DVD without actually having seen it. Says Iganianiana about Young Frankenstein. The rave reviews it receives on this site made it sound like it's a must-have movie for all comedy fans. Once I started to watch this film, I was gobsmacked. It is utter crap. Oh dear. The jokes are lame as hell, the script's pathetic. The only funny thing in it is Marty Feldman's eyes, and they hardly deserve 10 out of 10. Yes, they do. It just amazes me how this film picks up those great reviews despite the fact that it stinks so much. Oh, what a moron. I'm sorry, but, the only way you're criticising it is just by saying it's crap and it stinks. What about some actual... my advice to anyone out there who hasn't already seen this stinker is to avoid it at all costs because it's a complete waste of nearly 2 hours of your life. Simply pathetic. But why? You haven't really explained why. You just think the jokes are lame as hell and the script's pathetic. So I'm getting annoyed. Come on, it's Young Frankenstein, you idiot. Guani. More questions. Number 6, or 6, if you're in France. Leslie Nielsen, Linda Blair and Ned Beatty all starred together in which 1990 spoof of The Exorcist? And number 7, what is the name Sept in France? What is the name of the 1982 National Lampoon's movie that is a parody of many of the early slasher movies? Oh, that's a good one. What is wrong with the brain that is put into the creature in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, which Iguani hates? It's crap. Which, number 9, Nuf, which comedy group are behind the 2004 slasher film spoof Club Dread? And 10, or D, in 2017, a trailer was released for a trailer. Oh, sorry, this is the true or false. Number 10, is it true or is it false? In 2017, a trailer was released for a spoof of Jaws, which was set in a house called House Shark. Now, is it true or is it false? Well, I know the answer to that because I helped crowdfund it. Oh, I've given it away, haven't I? Well, it's a few years on. I mean, at the time I wrote that question, it wasn't out yet, was it? It's great though, House Shark, if you've not seen it. It's got a 4.8 on Internet Movie Database with 551 votes. In fact, on my wall right here, don't know if you can see that, there's a massive House Shark poster signed by a bunch of the cast and the crew. Yeah, I got a bunch of other stuff from that, which I don't know where it is. We lose things in this abyss. We all lose things in the abyss. Anyway, I've got another fact here that I was supposed to read about. From Ink Horror 2. It's about Flight of the Living Dead. So I don't know if you'd refer to that as a full-on spoof, because it is in title anyway, because the title is Spoofing Night of the Living Dead, isn't it? But I want to read it for you anyway. So here we go. It would seem that in 2015, Flight of the Living Dead, a comedy horror movie set on board a plane during a zombie outbreak, which you probably guessed from the title, may have come true. Whilst on an Aer Lingus flight from Lisbon to Dublin, 24-year-old John Kennedy Santos Gorge... Oh, I was hoping I could read his name, and then he threw in that last bit. John Kennedy Santos Gorjare suddenly went completely berserk and began biting the other passengers. His body was convulsing wildly as the terrified crew attempted to restrain him and stop him from attacking anyone else. Passenger John Leonard said the noise he was making was like something I have never heard before. It's not something you'd hear every day. It was like deep anguish, is the best way I could describe it. Very, very troubled. Not screaming in a sense, if you'd hurt yourself, just a very guttural sound from deep within him. The zombified man would eventually be dragged to the back of the plane where he died. Leonard said, horrible, I would say a very violent end. The plane was forced to make an emergency landing at Cork Airport, and after an autopsy was conducted, it was concluded he indeed was a zombie. That's not the real end. Shouldn't have closed the book as a joke because it concluded that he had 2 pounds of cocaine and 80 pellets were found in his abdomen. Doctors concluded he had ingested around 0.08 pounds of the cocaine before he died. So I guess he just went a bit mad on the cocaine, didn't he? Anyway, Bloodbath at the House of Death is a lovely gory scene at the moment, which I always liked, where Kenny Everett is performing surgery on this guy, and he drops his watch. Is it his watch or his monocle? I can't remember. And then he's digging through the guy and pulling out all his guts, trying to find it. Very funny film. Well, although it is also, it's kind of a bad film. It's no classic. It's just one that I grew up with. It's probably one of the earliest horrors I saw, and it just stuck with me all those years. It disappeared for a long time. In that VHS DVD gap, where you could only get it on VHS. Not sure if I had it on VHS. I don't think I did. And I remember eventually my brother scored me a DVD rip of it illegally. He did go to jail for it, don't worry. I made sure of that. Thanks for the DVD rip. Have fun in prison. I did visit him, though, on 3 occasions, so that was nice for him. And I told him about the Bloodbath DVD. That's all made up, that. I made most of that up. And then, eventually came out on DVD in... just look at the box again. What year did it come out? Don't Let Me Down, back of the box. 2008. Thank God I found that quick. You wouldn't have wanted me to pause, would you? For 10 seconds, should we say? As I looked for the year on the back of the box. Anyway, where are we up to? I've got completely confused again. I think we'll do those answers, shall we? The Leslie Nielsen, Linda Blair spoof was Repossessed. Another one, I think, from the old video rental days, which I think I've got on DVD somewhere. I seem to remember some other gags in that were a bit lame. Like that Gwanny says about Young Frankenstein. But they really are Repossessed, though. They really are. Number 7 was... Oh, yeah, right. Another one from my video rental days. The 1982 National Lampoon's parody of slasher movies, Class Reunion, which I've recently got on Blu-ray, which I was really pleased that one had come out on Blu-ray. That's another one up there with, if I was going to pick 2 choices for the moving the BG today, it would have been Bloodbath at the House of Death or Class Reunion, because those two, for me, any road, ones that I cherish, I really do. And they're not the widely known. Let's look at Class Reunion, shall we? Let's have a little bit on Class Reunion. Again, it's not one of those that many people... 1,894 we have there, and a 4.8 score. Pretty short and snappy, but one shocking thing, I suppose, about this movie is written by somebody incredibly famous. It's Mr. John Hughes, Home Alone, Planes, Trains... I forget all the other ones. Breakfast Club and all that. Weird Science. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And all the other ones. No, he did loads, didn't he? Well, Class Reunion, it's like possibly one of his first movies, apart from The Secret Life of Nikola Tesla. What the hell's that? Did he really write that? It doesn't even give the genre there. Oh, biography, drama. Orson Welles. Anyway. Then Class Reunion, then Vacation, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, She Has Having a Baby, The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Home Alone, Drive Me Crazy, Curly Sue. Did he do all these as well? Flubber? Did he get bad after a while, didn't he? Baby's Day Out. Oh dear, Dennis the Menace. Yeah, he went downhill, didn't he? Oh dear, shouldn't have said that. Sorry, John. Right, yeah, Class Reunion. Check that one out. It's one of those that you had to be there. Anyway, where am I? What's wrong with the brain? It's abnormal, isn't it? Our abby-normal, as Igor says. Igor Frankenstein. Well, they were wrong then, weren't they? Number 9, the comedy group behind Club Dread is Broken Lizard. Does that ever come out on Blu-ray? It should do. It's a good one, that. And yeah, we now know the house shark. Is it true or false? Because I told you I've got a poster. So obviously it's true. Jeez. Right, we're going to race through the last 10 questions. That's how the show works. I was hoping to keep this one about half an hour. I've already spoilt that, haven't I? Number 11. What was the killer called in the 1981 slasher film Student Bodies? Was it the respirer, the breather, or the exhaler? Number 12. What is the name of the 1994 spoof of The Silence of the Lambs starring Dom DeLuise as Dr. Dr. Animal Cannibal Pizza and Billy Zane as Joe D. Foster? 13. What is the sequel to the 1981 spoof movie Saturday the 14th called? And number 14. Oh, that leads quite well into 14, doesn't it? That was clever of me. Which legendary horror star appeared in the 1984 horror spoof Bloodbath at the House of Death? Oh, oh dear. Yeah, so you know that one, don't you? It's Vincent Price. I'm giving it away. 15. How many sequels to date have there been to Scary Movie? 16. Which horror spoof movie am I describing? Right, listen. You listening? There's a possessed girl, a haunted mansion, a clown doll, a turkey, and a man with a deformed hand. Number 17. What is the name of the 2011 pornographic spoof of A Nightmare on Elm Street? Is it, and you've got a choice here, A Sex Dream on Elm Street, A Wet Dream on Elm Street, or Freddy Krueger, The Dream Masturbator? Number 18. Who is the star, co-writer and co-producer of the two A Haunted House spoof movies? It's a jolly good fun. Number 19. Which much-loved comedy star appears in Stan Helsing as the character K? He's been mentioned earlier. Were you paying attention? Number 20. What is the name of the 2015 movie that is a spoof of The Walking Dead? Is it The Walking Zombies, The Walking Deceased, or The Walking Corpses? So there are final 10 questions. So I do hope you enjoyed those last 10 questions. I sure did. I think we'll reel through the answers straight away and maybe have a little natter about some of the movies in question. That'll be neat, wouldn't that be really neat? So number 11 is the Student Bodies film. The Breather. It was The Breather. I was going to read them all. In fact, let's turn to the Teenage Slasher movie book here, which is a Wunderbar book, because he looks at spoof movies himself. Where is it? Oh. I know. Oh, I am sorry about that noise. I bet that one hurts. I know the best way to find it. I'm trying to find it, you see. Bear with. I'm not going to edit this show, though. I'm not doing that. You know, you will just listen to it in one take as I record it. That's how it goes. So we're looking at slasher spoofs, 1978 to 1984. It's quite a lot to read out. But I'm going to read it anyway, because it's interesting. Horror spoofs were nothing new, as anyone who had seen an Abbott and Costello film, such as Hold That Ghost, 1941, will tell you. Many films, including The Old Dark House, tales from the 1930s, attempted to balance horror with humour. However, the pattern for modern slasher spoofs was set after the release of Psycho. The shower scene from the film has become so iconic that it has been spoofed in any number of other movies. The release of both Halloween and Friday the 13th started a new run of spoofs of the subgenre in the early 1980s. Of course, when a popular genre is spoofed, it is usually a sign that the cycle is coming to an end, and that was certainly true of the slasher boom in the 1980s. How could audiences continue to be terrified by plot devices and well-worn cliches when they are mercilessly dissected and played for laughs in other contemporary films? It is a testament to the popularity. Oh my word! I'm losing plot again. Mercilessly. I can say these words. I'm just getting hot and bothered. It is a testament to the popularity of the slasher that it is periodically bounces back in favour. I should have skipped all that and just read about the film. So Student Bodies was released during the height of popularity of the subgenre and was their first out-and-out spoof. It shows the poster, it shows a house just like the one in Halloween. During a time lapse, it goes from Halloween to Friday the 13th to Jamie Lee Curtis's birthday. It features a killer called the Breather who keeps on stepping in chewing gum as the camera focuses on his boots, who murders girls with everything from a paperclip to an eggplant, and who suffocates boys with garbage bags, and also has an on-screen body count counter. Of course, that's very amusing. And I mentioned some other ones here: Pandemonium. It says here the excellent proto-slasher Communion in 1976, which I don't know of. I'll have to check that one out. And yeah, then he goes on to say the National Lampoon crew turned their attention to spoofing the slasher with the woeful class reunion. Yeah, that doesn't take me by surprise. I already knew he didn't like it. I do, though. And then Wacko. And Return to Horror High, yeah, the Serial Mom. However, the slasher really hit pay dirt with the phenomenally successful Scary Movie franchise. Yeah, anyway, I like him, Justin, so I like the films that you don't like. The answers, back to the answers, we're running out of, well, we got as much time as I like, I suppose. I just don't want to carry on. The name of the 1994 spoof of the Silence of the Lambs is the Silence of the Hams. Oh, that's so clever, isn't it? The sequel to Saturday the 14th, or Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. And yeah, now 14 we know to be the movie in the BG, Vincent Price in as the Sinister Man. Is, yeah, of course, Bloodbath of the House of Death. How many sequels have there been to a Scary Movie? 4. Yes, it goes up to 5. I'd quite like to see a part 6. Is there going to be a part 6? So let's have a quick Google of that. Scary Movie 6, or 6 if you're in France. Scary Movie 6. There are no known plans for Scary Movie 6. Hey, there could be some unknown plans, couldn't there? Though, let's hold on to that. Is there a fan poster here? This poster is not real. Scary Movie 6 with the hilarious Anna Faris. Is that her name? Anna Faris. She makes the movies. She's in most of them, isn't she? Apart from part 5. Where part 5 though, eh? It does have its moments. I'll say that. I think it's definitely got some scary. Because I'm reading the word scary on the screen. It does have some funny moments in there. So yeah, I enjoy all the scary movies, but part 3, in particular. So very funny. 16, a movie that I'm describing: Possessed Girl, Haunted Mansion, Clown Doll, Turkey, and a Man with a Deformed Hand is, of course, what we were just talking about. It's Scary Movie 2. The pornographic Nightmare on Elm Street spoof was actually A Wet Dream on Elm Street. And number 18, the co-star the writer and the star and co-writer and co-producer of the Haunted House movies, Marlon Wayans. How do you say it? Wayans or Wayans? Which much-loved comedy star, Stan Helsing, of course, Les Nielsen, who had to be mentioned. And the final question, the 2015 spoof of The Walking Dead, was the Walking deceased? And I think on that note, I will walk away from the podcast, because that's a neat ending, isn't it? The way I use that word, walk, to walk away. And walk away I will. Until next time, many huge horror thanks for listening. Au revoir, if you're in France.